To the Sales Dojo here at Medicare Gurus in Cedar Park, Texas. If you are in the surrounding area, you'll know that it is very stormy and very cloudy and very rainy on this Friday afternoon, but has not stopped our sales today. This has been the busiest day of the week. I think people are now starting to get our emails and our mailers and our callbacks. They're finally taking them seriously. So our floor has been nonstop. It's even I have been, on the phone with old clients calling me back. I wanted to start first today with today's the first day of the World Series. My Phillies are going to be playing the Astros. And although I would love to do a World Series breakdown today with y'all, I'm not going to do that. But I did want to bring that up because I was talking to an old client who's in Pennsylvania right now. We were chatting about the game. And I was thinking as I was talking to him, he was a client that I had for years, and he didn't even know that I moved to a new company. And so when he reached out, they said, oh yeah, Stephen Grip moved to Medicare Gurus. So he called Medicare Gurus and we were just chatting about how he got connected with me. And, wonderful conversation, was able to take care of him. But what was fascinating about it was it made me think about the term legacy. What does it take to have a legacy in the business? Is it somebody who's been around for a very long time? We have agents here that have been here over 10 years in the Medicare industry. And, we can definitely define it as that. But, today I wanted to talk briefly about the concept and the context of what legacy means to an agent in this business. So I'll use examples with me. I've been in the business for 4 years. And although that I am getting residuals off of my book of business and I'm making good money doing so, I'm continuing to build my book. I'm continuing to talk to clients. I'm continuing to try and quell their fears of Medicare and help build trust within them. But listening to my calls, that's what I do. I'm going back and I'm noticing, how calm I am. This is not a pat on the back. I know it sounds weird, but I'm here by myself, so I have no choice. But it's really weird for me to hear how different I sound now than when I sounded 4 years ago. Yes, there's that experience factor, but there's also, the tone and the inflection that I'm having in my call. The person that is listening to me speak just is completely at ease, knowing that when I'm sharing information with them, they know that they're going to be completely trusted. Particular example here, I talked to another client earlier today who's in a different situation, but they were recently diagnosed with cancer and they were freaking out. They didn't know what to do. They had a med sup and they're like, I don't pay any bills. It's like, well, you are correct. You are in the Medicare supplement for this very reason. But for that client to call me and know that, okay, Stephen Grip is going to tell me that what he says is going to be the truth with my safety and my coverage. That is a legacy. To know that there are people out there are clients out there, knowing that if anything were to happen, they can call their agent. The majority of people that Jacob and Brad specifically and Victoria that they're talking to their book. They're talking to them saying, look, I'm not just checking up to see if I can get a new deal. I'm checking on you because I want to see how you're doing, how your health is, how your family is, and finally, how your coverage is. I want to make sure that these calls are very personal because we want to dig into your personal health, but also they're very calm and collected because we want to know that when we do finish that call, and this is what I said to them, that you are completely safe. So another cool thing too that happened to me today was I got a referral from one of those clients. There's all this crazy stuff happening today that's involving my legacy. So I got a call today and this lady was saying, oh, I talked to an agent who enrolled me in a Medicare supplement and they did the basic presentation and whatnot, but then I tried calling them back and I couldn't get a hold of them. So I tried all these different numbers. I tried the carrier itself and I was just, walking around in circles. So the company referred them to us and they transferred them to me. And so when I was talking to this person, every time I talked to them or asked them a question, it was just reassuring to them, knowing that when we get everything done, because her husband was running errands and we wanted to all talk together and get it done. I know she's going to call me back. I know that she's going to go to her husband and she's going to say, yeah, I talked to a Stephen Grip He explained everything to me. Here's the outline of Medicare that we talked about. Here is the supplement that I enrolled in. And he said that it wouldn't be a big deal if we stayed in there. But she's even saying, I will even switch and pay a little bit more so I can have you as an agent. And it's not because I'm a better agent than Jacob. I am, but don't tell him that. No, I'm just kidding. He's an amazing agent. But it's that because the concept of legacy is being instilled. I'm not trying to ingratiate them to try and win their business. I am a bedrock. And when they come to me and I say, look, this is what happened. I am telling you that the way that you were treated was neither good nor bad, but it was incomplete because you're talking to me. And so me, the legacy agent, is going to convey to you how first Medicare works, because you aren't even enrolled in Medicare yet. You have no idea what's going on. So I'm going to tell you how that works first. So that way you have a foundation. Then I'm going to tell you how Medicare supplements work in conjunction with your Medicare. And she's like, I had no idea. It's like, exactly, because we live in a world of turn and burn, getting things done. Even at the Medicare supplement level, people are just, here's how Medicare works, here's a supplement, boom, goodbye. Nobody is taking the time. And for agents that are beginning or have been around for a little bit, you forget that now your goal is not to get these clients to sign with you. Your goal is to create a legacy for yourself. So in years' time, 4, 5, 10 years even, yes, you're going to be making the money that you want, but you're going to be the go-to person for everything Medicare. See, the confusing thing, and there are some reports and some articles about, the changing of these commercials online. I'm sorry, the commercials on television about Medicare Advantage and how Medicare should be worked. That now what's happening is that people are starting to distrust advertising, which is good. These people are coming from an age and a time where when things were on television, they would say, oh, that's the truth. And I feel for them, but a great example, I don't know if you remember, and I know that our cameraman, Nico, can attest to this, but back in the day, during shows, they would have advertising for cigarettes. And they would say, cigarettes are great. These are delicious. Camels are great. Marlboros are great. You have the Marlboro Man, you have the Joe Camel, and you have wealth of advertising for these cigarettes. And, people would smoke and, people would get addicted to smoking. And then now they're dealing with diseases. But they trusted that the advertising, oh, which one's the best cigarette? Oh, Marlboro? Fantastic. I'm going to smoke Marlboros. Same thing with Coca-Cola. When Coke came out, tons of advertising, and we're still getting advertising. But people were trusting what the television was bringing to them. They were saying, okay, Coke is good. Cigarettes are good. And now they're like, oh, I have COPD and I have diabetes. And a can of Coke has 10 cups of sugar. Wow, I was duped. I was super duped. So now when it comes to using this example, these Medicare Advantage commercials, regulation is starting to come in now and say, yeah, those commercials are not really what Medicare does. You don't get free stuff, okay? Yes, there are added perks and bonuses that are attached to those plans. There is money granted to you that you are allotted to go take care of what you need to take care of, like dental or vision, or some food cards that are attached. But the point is that now people are starting to realize that the advertising on television, specifically for Medicare, is untrusting and unreliable. So what do you do next? Who do you turn to? You probably go to your friends. And your friends will say, okay, well, what's going on? Well, I'm looking to start Medicare, or I have issues with my Medicare. What plan do you have, or how do you handle your Medicare? And they're going to give them their example. Oh, I'm super healthy. I haven't used my plan in years. My plan is great. I never have to go to my doctor. You should definitely get an Advantage plan. Or, yeah, I have a Medicare supplement. I'm super sick, but I just pay my premium. It's really expensive. So I'm thinking about switching to a Medicare Advantage, but I am basically just paying for this plan F and I don't pay any bills. So what's happening to these new clients or these people that have been new to Medicare for a little bit? They're starting to determine that, okay, my assessment of what my Medicare should be is based off of one, not the commercials, but two, the people that I know and the people that I love and I trust. So they're like, all right, I'll just go with what they say, which is not really the best idea. Because here's a fact. Medicare is individualized coverage. Okay? When you are working or you are a spouse of somebody who's working, you have a group plan or that company provides you insurance. And with that group plan, it is a group plan because you are paying it and your company is paying it with a group. So you may have a premium that is taken out. There may be a deductible that's attached to it. There may be a premium that's attached to it. But either way, that's your coverage. And that is how you see coverage for the duration of your life up until Medicare. But Medicare is completely different. It is catered to the individual. So if you're talking to your friends and they're saying, hey, what do I do? And your friends say, well, get an Advantage plan because I'm super healthy. I just finished my 10K and I never have to use my plan. I've been on it for 5 years. It's great. Or you're talking to the other person and say, well, I have 35 medications. I see my doctor twice a week, and you should really get a Medicare Supplement Plan F and pay the $300. These are extremes, of course, but the advice that you are receiving from your friends is not going to be the best advice. So what do? You've looked at the commercials. I don't trust them. Go to my friends. Well, I heard that Medicare is an individualized coverage, and my friends, they're different than me. So what do? Well, I'm probably going to have to turn to an agent. So you call up a carrier or you call up, a brokerage. Let's start with a carrier. You call up a AARP or an Aetna carrier. They are only going to talk to you about their company's plan. That's all they're going to do because that is who pays their bills. That's who writes their checks. So if you're talking to an Aetna agent or a Blue Cross Blue Shield agent and you're on Medicare, my suggestion is to collect the information that you get and talk to a broker. And when you talk to a broker, understand that they are able to look at all the plans in your area. So when you're talking to a broker, ask them, who covers you? Here at Medicare Gurus, we have over 30 carriers. We're not even considering ourselves a brokerage. Yes, we function under the brokerage identity, but we are an independent enrollment center. We have over 30 carriers that we can look at in your area. So when you're talking to an agent, okay, are they a captive agent? So they're going to be limited. Are you talking to a broker? Well, who do they work for? Are they working for an incumbent? Meaning like they are a major Medicare conglomerate. Okay, what do you think their sole purpose is? To make sales. Okay, they need to make money. So they're going to try and get you into something that they are brokered under, or they just want to get you into a deal as fast as they can. Okay, now I'm exaggerating because there are good agents out there. I'm just saying you as a client or someone that's looking for some help, we are knocking out what you need to do so that way you have the best opportunity. Knock out the advertising. Knock out your friends. Knock out captive agents. Do your research on brokerages. Now we get to the legacy agent. What is a legacy agent? Well, a legacy agent is someone that has been around for a very long time. And their sole purpose is to only take care of the client's needs. They are not concerned with making a deal. Yes, fact. They need to make money off commissions. I make money off of commissions. I also make money off of residuals. But the intention of talking to a client as a legacy agent, the pressure of making sales is not on me. So my clairvoyance or my candid demeanor is going to be projected to you in such an authentic way that I'm going to do whatever it takes to make you taken care of, because I'm a legacy agent. And by doing that, first, it's going to, what I say, quell your fears, because I know what I'm talking about. But also, that I am not going to try and sell you something that you are not going to need. I am not an agent that is going to try and bamboozle you into a deal so I make money. If I have to tell you, look, this particular plan, I cannot enroll you in because I'm not appointed with that particular plan, I will tell you to go get that plan, because I know that that is the best plan for you. I am in no rush to get you into a plan. And you're saying to yourself, come on, Grip, that is baloney. You need to make money. And yes, I do. But the resources that we have here at Medicare Gurus, we have the plans that are going to be best suited for you. And this is not a commercial for Medicare Gurus. This is just a testament to you as an agent and you as a client, if you're even looking at this video, to say, who do I talk to? How do I know that the person I'm talking to is the right person I'm talking to? Well, legacy agents like myself or Brad or Jacob are people that you want to talk to. Now, here at Medicare Gurus, we have apprentices that are on the path to becoming legacy agents, and they are shadowing great agents like myself and Jacob and Victoria. So any type of question or any type of concern that you have, you can ask them. And even if the apprentice doesn't know, you can talk to Jacob or Victoria, who do know, or myself, who do know. So the great thing about being a legacy agent is, one, you have the experience and the wherewithal to say, look, I'm here to help you. I'm here to educate you, and I'm here to help you, because I know that whatever I advise you with, I know it's going to be the best advice, because I've been doing it for so long. I am doing my homework on finding out how Medicare and the climate of Medicare is changing. So I know that I'm going to be giving the best advice. So with that being said, we have Victoria joining us. So thank you for joining us, Victoria. This is the longest that the Stephen Grip Show has gone on. I've been pretty impressed. I've been saying some good stuff.
Oh, who says? What audience members?
Oh my goodness. Well, already with the commentary. Ouchie. So anyways, what I'm talking about today is legacy and what that means, the concept of a legacy agent. And I've just been going over like how to become a legacy agent, or if you're a client and you're talking to somebody on the phone, how do you know if that is a legacy agent? So just tell me a little bit, like, you're a legacy agent. When did you know that you were a legacy agent?
I don't know. I think at some point it just dawned on me that, I guess it's all relative, right? When newer agents come in, suddenly you're a senior agent or a tenured agent by default.
Yeah.
So kind of once you realize that, you kind of have more confidence in yourself. And I don't know, I think it's sometimes, yes, time makes you a legacy agent, but also experience and how quickly you're able to pick it up and how well you're able to assist these people and troubleshoot and problem solve. I think just that a high level of that, all of that makes you a legacy agent.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that when people, like agents who are starting to grow in their business, are you able to tell, like maybe just using your apprentices as an example, are you able to tell who's on their way and who's not?
Yeah.
What are some telltale signs that you see?
When they are open to feedback, and I try to give constructive criticism and tips and things, when they're receptive to that, is surprisingly not something you see very often, or actually it's quite often that you get it's rejected or not taken well. It's taken as just criticism, right? So when someone is open to improving, that's definitely a telltale sign. Someone who actively wants to learn something, maybe they just heard about a little bit of a snippet of a situation with a client on the phone. And when the call's done, they ask more in-depth questions and they want to do research into that situation, especially if it's one that comes up pretty often.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, getting yourself licensed on your own
Right.
is definitely a big one for sure.
Right.
Being proactive about that, and you have a fire lit under you to do that. So those are some big telltale signs that they'll be successful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, in your own advisory, how do you help someone who you may see is not on their way? What are you, because you are kind of like it sounds weird, but you're kind of like the office mom, like you kind of look out after everybody.
The young mom.
Of course, yes.
Right.
But like when you see somebody that's kind of veering,
mm-hmm.
what is your approach? Are you going to continue to help them, or are you just going to say, look, the way you're going is not going to work? It's not my job to say you're fired, but I mean, you're really writing yourself out of this. Yeah. What is your approach to helping them, or at least shooting it straight with them?
Yeah, it just depends on the reason why they're veering off. If they're veering off because they just don't want to take my recommendations or take information I'm giving them to help them. They're just rejecting it, or taking it as I'm like a personal attack, mm-hmm. Which from anybody, if you're taking my advice as the way I deliver it as a personal attack, you ain't going to make it in this business.
Right.
Because I'm going to deliver it in the nicest way possible.
Right.
I think somebody like that, if that's why they're veering off, there's just really not anything I can tell them anymore because they're taking it in a negative way. Mm-hmm. And you just kind of have to almost kind of release them into the ether and let them work themselves out.
If you love them, let them go,
right,
type thing.
Exactly. I don't love them, but I will still let them go. Because apparently if they don't think my advice is helping, or my me laying my knowledge on them is helping them, then obviously they know what they're doing. They are smarter than me. So.
Yeah. Isn't it a surprise though? Like, I've been in education for 20 years and I've been doing this for a while, and you've been doing this for a while. It's funny that people treat our advice as an attack, an affront, sometimes like you can be direct or I can be direct, and, you can interpret it that way. But sometimes like the reason that I was successful is exactly what you said. Like mm-hmm. I saw the people that were doing it well and I gravitated toward them.
Right.
And I asked them questions and I listened to them and I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. And when my mentors were like telling me how to do it a certain way, like, I'm very stubborn, but I never was shutting them out. I knew that, hey, the reason you're there is because the person before you gave advice and you took it and you're there. Mm-hmm. So it's just really fascinating to have people be like, nah, I don't like, you're attacking me, or I don't like your advice. You're like, I'm sitting here now making money on what I'm telling you,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You think my advice is terrible? Well, look at my paycheck. Right. So, why would someone who is a tenured agent who has plenty of business and has plenty of things to fill their time with, mm-hmm. If they're taking time out of their day to give you some information or try to help, you should, I don't know, there's probably a better word than grateful, but take it seriously mm-hmm. as just a golden nugget of information. And then also if a mentor or a legacy agent is making themselves available to you as a resource, my goodness, make the most of it.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, what's the saying? Do as the successful do, mm-hmm. and learn from them.
Right. I had a conversation with a potential agent who wants to come into the business. And I had this question pop up in my mind, and I'll ask you, I'll turn it to you as a mentor. Do you think when you have a new agent come in and they're learning and, we're firing the fire hose at them with information, can you tell if that agent is going to make it? And if so, how long does it take for you to realize that, you personally?
Oh gosh. Usually the first day, there's going to be a lot of signs
right.
about whether or not they will make it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think right away, it's easy to tell the ones that are not going to make it. It's easy to kind of single those people out. Mm-hmm. for so
What do
many
you see?
reasons.
What do you see? What are some
That-
things that you see that you're like, oh, we can't have that here?
Commonly, a reason would be like they're overwhelmed with technology.
Okay,
Because
right,
this is very technological. You have to be able to, we have our 2 screens and those are split into 2 screens and you have tabs and
right.
that's just overwhelming for someone. And if you're not pretty savvy,
Mhm.
then it's not going to work for you,
Right.
right? You don't do the stone and chisel anymore, or the
Right.
pen and paper anymore. It's just not ever going to go back to that.
Right.
People who are just a bad attitude, I think about it.
Mhm.
That
Like
maybe
negative.
negative. Also, if they come into it thinking, "Oh yeah, I can do this. This is this piece of cake."
Mhm.
If you're just coming in with that kind of attitude, you're in for a big surprise,
Right.
right? Also, if you are thin-skinned,
Mhm.
because this business, just by its nature, can be a little rough
Mhm.
and a little cutthroat and a little emotionally taxing. And I think sometimes people come here and think, oh, well, that's just how we run our agency. When actually, no, that's just the nature of the business. And I think we run it in the healthiest way I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So if you think if someone is overwhelmed with how tough it is here, I don't know where you think you're going to make it.
Yeah.
So those are just some big signs, I think.
Yeah.
And usually, like I said, first day I can tell a lot.
Yeah.
But then they kind of pares it down to maybe then the ones I'm not sure about. It really just kind of time will tell.
Mhm.
And I think usually probably by the first week, I'm able to pretty well tell who's really talented, who's going to make it, and
Right.
who's maybe going to falter.
Yeah. So with that being said, we're going to wrap up here. Why don't you give your advice to people who are just starting this business? Just give Vic's points.
Yeah. Well,
Vic's tips.
My tips. Just use your resources that you have. Like I said, if you have people who've been doing it a long time and they have information to give you, take it and run with it. Use your resources, and then you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So do more listening than you do talking. Don't come into it thinking you're going to reinvent the wheel. It works the way it does for a reason. Yeah, you can make tweaks here and there, but don't come in with this is the way you do it. It's crazy. I'm going to do it totally different. It ain't going to work that way, right?
Right.
I think you have to just be quick on your feet and catch on quickly. You just have to have a natural ability, unfortunately, to catch on. And if you don't, you just have to know you're going to have to just work extra hard to catch on and to study or to memorize. You just have to know that about yourself. So I think those are some big things that will make you successful.
That is awesome. Awesome advice. I will leave you with this. My piece of advice, if you are a legacy agent or if you are a new agent or if you're new to the business, fail upward. Okay, you're going to have calls that are not going to go your way more than calls go your way when you first start. It's just because it's the nature of the business. You're learning, you're trying to understand how Medicare works, you're trying to understand how people with these insurance policies work. You're going to fail. Don't let that bother you. Just keep going and going. It's a game of numbers until you are comfortable and are able to do this on your own footing. So with that being said, thank you for coming in. We're going to end here. Go Phillies. And thank you for watching, and Grip is out. Thanks, guys.
Damn you.